Hey everyone, the Miss Peg here. We are working steadily back again after this spring break on skills for our Algebra 1 EOC exam coming up in May. So we have the entire month of April to get this done, all right? So we're jumping into our first standard, or our second standard actually. We did standards that involved polynomials in previous videos. Please go back and look at that. But the standard we're working on today is what I call CED 1.1, okay? So what that means to you is a lot of structure about creating equations from word problems most specifically. So we're going to jump right into this with question number 1. Now there's a few levels here. We've got level 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the difference between these levels is the complexity of the information, okay? So a level 2, you're able to just kind of write an equation out in one variable. Level 3 is you may be able to figure out when you're going to have to put some sort of quadratic or exponent in there. Level 4, so you're going to have to write an exponential equation. And there's a lot of extra going on and figure out what do these variables mean and stand for. So a lot of reasoning. And here in level 5, you're employing the modeling cycle when you're writing an equation. Is you're able to take that and apply it into other things. So model in different ways. So here we're going to start, like I said, with number 1. Boom. Make sure my pen is working up here. Very good. Okay, so it says here, there are 60 students going on a field trip to the chocolate factory. Yum. So we have 60 students. I'm going to put a box around that because it's a number. I'm probably going to have to pay attention to it. Okay? So these kids are going to the chocolate factory. So what else do we know? The students are from 3 different classes. I'm going to underline that, 3 different classes. So here are the classes. Mrs. Hooper's class has 24 students. I'm going to underline that one. Mr. Gomez's class has 18 students. Period. Okay. Which of these equalities, I'm going to circle equalities, boom, correctly describes the students and could be used to solve for how many students are from Mr. Anderson's class. Okay, so we have a third person here, Mr. Anderson. Then they tell us, squiggly, let A equal the number of students in Mr. Anderson's class. So the first thing I want to do, I read the question. I made note of some key elements in the question, and now I want to go and see what do I know and what are they asking. So I guess let's start there. What's the question asking? Well, the question is the part that ends in the question mark. So they say, which of these, A, B, C, or D, correctly describes the students and could be used to solve for what? How many students are from Mr. Anderson's class? And they also let us know that we have a variable for that. That's a really good setup. So we know that our variable A is going to be Anderson's class. Okay, I'm just going to put Anderson's. Now remember there's two other teachers here. We have Mrs. Hooper, so I'm going to put Hooper. And we have Mr. Gomez. I should have just put Gomez, but okay. So Anderson, Hooper, and Gomez. And look, those are the 3 classes that went on this trip. All right? So the first thing I know is Mrs. Hooper had 24 students go on the trip. Mr. Gomez had 18 students go on the trip. We actually don't know how many of Mr. Anderson's students went on the trip. That's why they told us, let A equal the number of students. So we don't get a number there, we get A. Okay? Cool. So what do I do with these numbers, though? How can I figure that out? Well, let me go back. How many students in total? Because we're talking about an equality here. So all of this has to equal up to something. Hence, each answer has an equal sign, okay? So there's 60 students in total. If I want to say in total, I'm going to put over here, that's going to give the total of all, which was 60. So what would I do with each of these classes? Well, I would add them together. So Anderson's class plus Hooper's class plus Gomez's class, they all jumped on a bus. They went to the chocolate factory. There was 60 of them to go all together. Okay? So we don't have to solve anything, you guys. All we had to do is figure out what does it say and write it in an equation form. Here, this is in one variable level 2 problem. So which of these answers looks like this? Definitely not A, definitely not B, and definitely not C, because, I mean, that's 60 minus 18. We're not even minusing things out here. And here we have 24 plus 18 plus A. But over here I have A plus 24 plus 18. That's perfectly fine. So it's okay that they're not in the exact same order, because you may not always write it in the exact same order. So answer choice D is the correct answer. Also, we have that commutative property of addition tells me it doesn't matter if I'm adding, excuse me, right here, if I'm adding or if I was multiplying. With those two operations, doesn't matter what order it's in, as long as you do the numbers, it's going to come out the same. All right? So that's the answer to number 1, and that's what they had us to do there on number 1. Let's scroll down, clear the screen, and go down to number 2. Let's pull this one up a little bit higher. So number 2 is saying, oh, this is a good one. All right. The ages of 3 friends. So we know we got 3 of us that are 3 friends that are coming together, and we're going to be talking about something about how old they are, their age. So together is a key word there. Together typically means I'm adding something. Their age is total 48 years. Normally when I see a total, that's like an equal sign. Normally total, whatever comes after the total is like what would come after the equal sign. All right? So 3 friends, I'll just underline that, are consecutively. So here's my squiggly right here. What? That's important information. I'm going to put 3 stars on that. Okay? So, which equation can be used to find the age of each friend, where A represents the age of the youngest? Okay, the youngest. So, first let's write down A. That is the youngest. So I'm going to call that 1. That's a terrible way to say young. 1. Then we have friend number 2, and then we have friend number 3. Okay? So friend 1 is A. We know that because they said A is the age of the youngest friend. So I'm going to cross that out. I got that done. Whew, now what? Well, I need to find what's the age of friend number 2 and friend number 3. And I got no numbers to work with. Well, actually, I do have a number to work with. I have this number here, 48 years. So together, all of these friends, 1, 2, and 3, equal a total in their age. I know that total is 48, so I know whatever I got going on down here, it's going to equal up to 48. So the key word that I want to go to is this squiggly that I underline here, and this is the thing I want you to pay attention to the most in this problem. Almost guaranteed you're going to see something similar or in this range on your exam. Okay, consecutively, 1 year apart. So that means in order, in a consecutive order, one after the other. They're all from 1 year apart, like 1 year older, 1 year older, 1 year older. We know that the youngest one is A years old, which is kind of crazy to hear that, okay? But if the youngest one is A years old, I don't know, put in a number, 5. The younger one says 5. Consecutively, 1 year ahead is going to be 6, because 5 the next year goes to 6. But we don't know what A is. But I know that I can take A, so I'm going to take A, and add 1 year to it. Okay? Ooh, that's a really crazy pen. So if I take A, and I add another, I'm just trying to get this, boom, there we go, nice and neat again. Yeah, if you've been following my videos, I'm really terrible at writing at this pen. You cannot be perfect at everything, okay? So the second one, so if this guy or friend is A, years old, this one is his age or her age plus another year. But then the next one would be age plus 2 years, because it goes 1 year, then 2 year. If I had 5 friends, it'd be A plus 1, A plus 2, A plus 3, A plus 4, because the 4 friends plus the first one, okay? So that's how I set up consecutive word problems. Now, the things you'll need to look for, consecutive is going to be in a row. So is it consecutive 1 year, consecutive 5 years, consecutive 10 years? Pay attention to what the question asked. This one said 1 year apart. That made it very easy for us. Now we're going to add these together. So when we put all of these together, we have A plus 1 plus A plus 2 equals 48. Oh, look at that. They wouldn't even have to solve this problem. This is too easy. Okay, it's definitely not this one. It's not 3A. Let me tell you why it's not 3A. A plus A is 3A. But then you still have plus 1 and plus 2. So you would actually end up getting 3A plus 3 equals 48. So this was not right because the plus 3 is missing. This one is not right because this is showing a distributed property and this is showing a binomial times a binomial. Way too complicated. We're not doing any multiplying here. So here on answer choice C, we have the A, but then we have A minus 1 and A minus 2. That is not correct because ours we were adding them together because it says together they all total to 48. Be careful though because you may end up with a problem on your exam where it may say descending, consecutively descending. That would be the trigger word that you're going down or subtracting. Okay, so in our example, we got it completely correct with answer choice D because it is 1, what we wrote, it matches exactly what we wrote, and 2, I just tried to get a highlighter and I got this green pen. Anyway, this is our answer choice. It matches exactly what we said here. So what if it asks you to extend out and answer that problem? Let's go ahead and answer that problem. How could we solve this? Okay. Well, I had 3A plus 3 is 48. I got that again because I added those A's together, added the 1 and the 2 together, kept the minus equals 48. Well, my rules of equations say I have to isolate the variable. Here's my variable. This 3 is stuck on there right now. Can't do anything with it. So if I have a plus 3, I'm going to do the inverse, which is minus 3 on both sides. These cancel out. 48 minus 3 is 45 over here. And 3A still left on this side. Okay? Now, when 3 is stuck to A, this is a coefficient of variable, stuck together, divide it out. Okay? Stuck together, divide it out. You're just doing the opposite of what you see. Stuck together means multiply, do the opposite, divide. Do a line and divide by 3, divide by 3. Those cancel out. A equals, and 45 divided by 3 is 15. If you don't know, get a calculator and check my work. All right, so how do I know if my answer is even correct? Well, let's go back. For the youngest one is 15. That would mean the second one would have to be 16. That would mean the third one has to be 17, and these would all have to come to 48. Is that true or is that false? Well, 5 and 6 is 11, plus 7 is 8, carry the 1. 1 and 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So if 48 does in fact equal 48, we are correct. Muy bueno. Okay, so there we go on that one. That's number 2. And let's keep moving, do one last one. We're really going to persevere today and get through these questions. Okay? Also, we have time, so why not? All right, pull this down here. I just really lost my spot. Ah, look it. What are the ages of the friends? I should have scrolled down there before, but I'm glad we figured that out. Let me just use my mouse. Where are we even? There we go. Okay, so then it asked us what are the ages of the friends. We figured it out. It was 15, 16, and 17. All right, I should have scrolled down a little bit further. Okay, question number 3. Let's take a look at this one. Nice. All right, so in this question, I really should look at these questions before I do them. This is funny. But listen, when you're good at math, you really don't have to. So you can get through and reason. The reason why I'm able to do that is because I have developed the skills and the way to think. So I can tackle sometimes most any problem as long as I know the background skills. And you can too. And that's what it takes to be able to pass these tests, because you don't have to just do the math part of it, the calculation part of it, you really have to know how to think through these and use your brain. All right? So, proud of you for sticking along. Let's get this number 3 done. Okay, so number 3 says, student council is renting a tent for $350. I'm going to underline that because it's a number. For an upcoming student fair. Okay, so they're going to rent a tent for $350. And they're having a fair. That's funny. All right, each student attending the fair will pay 50 cents. All other attendees will pay $2.25. So you get a discount if you're a student, you pay 50 cents. If you're not a student, you have to pay $2.25. So here we have an if. All right, if 200 students go to the fair, which inequality? So we saw an equality question before. An equality question had that word equal in it. That means it's an equal sign. An inequality, I'm going to put a box around this. Boop, boop, boop. Inequality means it's going to be less than or greater than, or well, greater than or less than, or greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Those are going to be my inequalities. So let's remember that shortly, because we're going to have to make a decision which one it is. Okay? So which inequality can be used to determine the number of other attendees, A, needed to cover the cost of the tent. So this is what this A stands for, this, whoops, other attendees. We don't know who those other attendees are. All we know is they're not students. All right? So other attendees, they said we're going to call that A. So A is other. I'm going to put that A in parentheses so you know it's other. Okay? So we know we have other attendees. The other thing we know is we have students. So I'm going to put students. Okay. Well, the students we know get in for 50 cents. I want to keep my numbers a little bit clean here, so I'm just going to put parentheses on them for the meantime, okay? So let's see. Needed to cover, oh, look at the end. We have to look at what is the question. So the question is where the question mark is. Here's the question mark. So it says, which inequality can be used to determine the number of other attendees needed to cover the cost of the tent? That's some key information because we're going to be working with the cost of the tent, and the cost of the tent was $350. Well, if I wanted to look ahead, I know, based on all of these answer choices, that $350 is more than likely going to be on the end over here by itself. Why? There's no other answer choice. I don't even have to think about it. But if there were other answer choices, like if there was a 350 over on the left-hand side, we would have to think, what does that 350 mean to us? Well, what they're trying to do is pay for the tent with the people who are coming. So if the students are 50 cents, well, how many students are going to pay 50 cents to get in? Could you find it? Right here. If 200 students went to the fair, well, I know I can put 200 with that 50. Those can go together because 200 students pay 50 cents. Okay? Cool. How many are the other? Well, I'm going to add, let's see, how much is it for the other people to go? $2.25. So that's the cost for them, $2.25. And how many went? We don't know. That's why they gave us an A. They gave us the A because we don't know how many attendees. We knew 200 student attendees, but how many other attendees we don't know. So if I put these two together, that's 50 cents for each of the 200 students and $2.25 for each of the other together, so that means I have a plus sign. I want the total of this amount to pay for the tent for $350. So here is where I have to decide which inequality goes there. Normally, you would have to look and see, is it going to be greater than or equal to? Is it going to be less than or equal to? But look, this problem helped us out so much if we're paying attention to what's going on. Every single answer choice has the same exact inequality. I'm going to put that in, greater than or equal to. So which one of these options looks like my option here? assuming that I did that correct. All right, well, it's not this one because the students, this is other for 50 cents. That doesn't make sense. The A cannot go with the 50 cents because the A is other attendees who pay $2.25. So here they put A with $2.25, and here they put A with $2.25. They put the 200 students with the 50 cents. They put the 200 students with the 50 cents. They both have greater than or equal to, and they both have 350. The only difference is one is minus and one is plus. In this example, we had to add the attendees together to get the total amount come in so that I know if I can pay for that 10. So in this one, answer choice B is your correct answer choice and your reasoning for how to get through that. Okay? So those were 3 questions that you will most likely encounter something of that sort on your Algebra 1 EOC coming up soon. Feel free, I'm going to leave this document here in the link below, how to access it online so that you can practice along. I'm going to be going through this entire booklet, so feel free to study along with me, and I hope you do a great job on your exam. Let me know if there is anything that you would like for me to cover because you're studying, and I'll be happy to make a tutorial video for you right here in Alachua County with a local teacher so that you can be successful. Okay? Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Chat soon.